What's up, guys? Welcome back to a special prediction show for UFC 300, and we are going to call this UFC 300 Mania Marathon, where me and Priest are going to be predicting 6 of the best fights for UFC 300. And Priest, I've just got to say, UFC 299 was probably one of the most highly anticipated fight cards for me to watch. UFC 300 is going to smack that out of the water.
I mean, you have 12 former champions competing on this card. What does that say about the magnitude of this card? April 13th might be one of the biggest UFC sporting events of all time, outbeating any Conor McGregor fight and possibly some boxing fights too.
Yes, I'm super excited. I can't wait to be there. Me and Priest will be in person live, so we're very fortunate to be there. But let's kick things off with one of the 6 fights going down to UFC 300, and that is the very first fight of the night. And I can't believe I'm even saying this, but it is Cody Garbrandt versus Deiveson Figueiredo. Cody Garbrandt is actually a big underdog in this fight. He's the plus 250 underdog, while Deiveson Figueiredo is the minus 350 favorite. So, Priest, what do you got going down in this fight, and who do you think is going to win?
Well, first and foremost, you have 2 former champions going at it. As the first fight of the night, how insane is this card? But this is a prediction show. And we've noticed Deiveson Figueiredo, from working in Arizona, has developed such a high stance, high chin. And what does that fall into? Cody No Love's trap. You look at the fight of Cody against Brian Keller at UFC 296 this past December. Brian Keller got caught straight up. Bink! Cody won by KO. So, if Cody can get the opportunity to catch Figueiredo whenever he's high up, trying to figure out if he wants to shoot or not, that might be it. But you can't let Deiveson Figueiredo bring you against the cage, because that is his ball game, and that's what he did to Rob Font. So, and we know Cody has good wrestling defense, but how good can it be? Because those Brazilians don't play around, man. They do not play around. So, Cody, fight in the center. Don't let your back get caught against the cage. And if he does that, I'm rocking with Cody Garbrandt.
I think the biggest thing coming out of the Brian Keller fight was, yes, Cody Garbrandt looked phenomenal. Probably the best Cody Garbrandt that we've seen in years. But there's one thing that people forget, and that is Brian Keller was 2 calf kicks away from changing that fight completely. And I think that's the biggest thing for Cody Garbrandt, is he needs to find an ability to check some leg kicks. He's got to be able to continue to go forward without worrying about his leg getting chopped down, because we've seen in recent UFC fights, that is one of the most pivotal things that fighters are using today, and it is that calf kick, but because it is devastating. And another thing for Cody Garbrandt is he's been knocked out 4 out of his last 6 fights. And that's tough to see, because the first thing that goes is your chin. But for Deiveson Figueiredo, he's coming up to 135 now. He was a massive 125er, but coming up to 135, you're right with the rest of them. You're not going to have that strength advantage. You're not going to have that power advantage. You're not going to have that wrestling advantage when you're fighting against Cody Garbrandt, who is a former bantamweight champion. And I think you hit it on the head. Deiveson Figueiredo, he fights very high now with his chin up in the air, and I think that's an ability for Cody Garbrandt, who probably has the fastest hands in the entire division, to touch that chin. So I'm honestly going to rock with Cody Garbrandt. I think he's going to pull the upset. I think he's mentally locked back in. He mentally knows that he can compete with the best fighters in the world, and you're going to see that April 13th.
Also, Cody hasn't lost a fight since 2021. So it's not like he's out of it and has lost 5 fights in a row, because he hasn't. So, Cody, let's do this.
Yeah, and Cody's coming over some big burn moments. He's had some gruesome injuries where he's had to have neck surgery. He went through that whole blood clot thing during 2020. So Cody's battle tested. This is nothing to compare to what he's gone through outside the octagon, battling all these demons, battling all these injuries. So I think we're going to see a very loose, a very confident, and a Cody Garbrandt that is ready to make another title run.